Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Creative Inland SoCal's info session. I'm Kristen Dolan. I'm the director for California Desert Arts Council, which is a partner of Creative Inland SoCal. For those who are visually impaired, I have brown hair with blonde highlights. I'm wearing red lipstick and little other makeup. My shirt is brown with various floral colors. As we have some general housekeeping tips for everyone today. So make sure that throughout the session that you do have your Zoom muted so that we're able to hear everyone. If for some reason someone becomes unmuted, then we'll go ahead and help you out with that. Closed captioning is available. You can turn this on by clicking the closed captioning icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We also have Spanish interpretation available as well. You can enable this by clicking on the interpretation feature on the bottom of your Zoom screen. ASL is also being provided, and our team of interpreters are Selena Flowers and Ashley Rodriguez. In this session, we will talk about the origins of the Creative Corps funding and introduce you to the Creative Corps Inland SoCal team partners. We will also discuss the goals of the program, future funding opportunities, the grant timelines, and how to use the California Healthy Places Index, which is also referred to as the HPI Index. It's a fundamental tool for identifying community service areas, and we'll also explain how you can get further involved and leave time for our Q&A. Creative Corps Inland SoCal is led by state and local partner organizations, Arts Connection, the Arts Council of San Bernardino County, and Riverside Arts Council. Representing our desert communities is California Desert Arts Council, and our connection to community-based organizations is the Inland Empire Community Foundation. Right now, we'll take a moment to introduce ourselves, all the partner organizations. I will begin. My name is Kristen Dolan. I'm the director for California Desert Arts Council. My pronouns are she, her. And again, I have brown hair with blonde highlights, red lipstick, little to no other makeup, a brown shirt with flowers on it. Jenny, if you can go next.
Thanks, Kristen. My name is Jennifer Kane. Feel free to call me Jenny. I'm the executive director of Arts Connection, which is the San Bernardino County Arts Council. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And today I am wearing a purple shirt, a middle-aged white woman with brownish blonde hair, and I have some speakers, headphones in my ears. And I'll toss it over to Kristen, because you can see everybody getting introduced next. Thanks. I'm running the slides, so I'm behind the scenes here.
Rachel, if you can go next.
Hi, my name is Rachel Jacoinski, and I'm the executive director of the Riverside Arts Council. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm wearing a black turtleneck and I have red curly hair.
Thank you. Michelle Decker, if you'd like to go next.
Thanks, Kristen. I'm Michelle Decker. I'm the president and CEO of the Inland Empire Community Foundation. Proud to be fiscal on this. I am white. I am 56. I have dark reddish hair. I'm wearing a brown woolen turtleneck and black glasses. And behind me, I have a very chaotic and blurry screen.
Thank you. Celia?
Celia Kudyamot, Senior VP of Community Impact and Grants at the Inland Empire Community Foundation, which is serving as the administrative org for this grant. I am a mature Filipina woman with black hair and wearing glasses. And I am also wearing a black and white jacket. And my pronouns are she, hers.
Thank you, everyone. Next slide, Jenny. Creative Court Inland SoCal is also supported by California Arts Council staff, SUNY Strategies, and local branding and website designers. I will have Paola, Nora, and Armando introduce themselves. Paola, if you'd like to go first.
Thanks, Kristen. Hi, everyone. My name is Paola Bernardino. I am with SUNY Strategies, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I am wearing a white turtleneck, a black blazer. I have brown hair. I am Latina, and I have light makeup, and I think that's it for me. And I will pass it to Armando.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. My name is Armando Carmona. I'm partner and chief communications officer with Zunu Strategies. Zunu is a Mayan word for hummingbird, which is the messenger between different worlds. So we're here to support in communicating with different communities in the inland region. Excited to be here. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm wearing a green sweater with brown stripes. I have a mustache and some facial hair. Latino, and I'm male. And so thank you all very much. And I'll pass it on to Nora.
Good morning, everybody. Nora Preciado, Managing Director and Partner at SUNY Strategies. I'm happy to join you today, and I am a Latina female. I'm wearing a black turtleneck, green sweater, and nerdy glasses. Happy to be here.
Thank you. We also have Mon Fan here with California Arts Council. If you'd like to introduce yourself as well.
Thank you, Kristen. My name is Mon Fan, and I am a arts program specialist with the California Arts Council in Sacramento. I'm very pleased to be invited to join here and see the great work that the collaboration of organizations in the Inland Empire are doing for this CCC program, California Creative Corps. So thank you, and I am of Vietnamese descent, and wearing a checkered sweater today. My pronouns are he, him, and his. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide, Jenny. We would like to take a moment to learn who is in the space with us today. Please share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, if you're an artist, an organization, or agency, your interest in the program in the chat as well. And if you would like to stay current on the program, please go ahead and subscribe using the link that's going to appear in the chat very soon. Thank you, Yasmin. And you can also use the QR code on the screen to access the form as well. Next, Jenny. So we wanted to begin today with an acknowledgement that we are embarking on new work on unceded ancestral and tribal lands. The Arts Councils have been reaching out individually to tribes to begin a dialogue with federally recognized tribes and with tribes who are still seeking recognition. We are committed to supporting our ongoing relationships with tribes and hope to work with them to build a land acknowledgement statement. But we also affirm our intentions for creating ongoing relationships that honor cultural practices of Native communities and to strengthen our awareness of historical and contemporary issues throughout this work. We also invite Native artists and culture bearers into the work and are committed to meeting with Native communities individually to discuss the program. This is a work in progress that we continue to evolve and as we learn more and grow in our relationships and knowledge. Currently, we invite you to visit native-land.ca to find out more about whose land you currently reside on, and you can also feel free to drop that in the chat. Now I'll turn it over to Jenny.
Thanks, Kristen, and my apologies. I hadn't refreshed my screen, so our slide there was slightly outdated. So I'll give you a second to read through that, and then we'll move forward. Thanks so much for that, Kristen, for sharing. So the next section we'll get into is a little bit about the program background and overview of the California Creative Corps. This is a statewide program that was started through a 2021 budget allocation of $60 million to start and implement a pilot program, which is the California Creative Corps. We're really excited to be a part of this pilot program, which is intended to be a media outreach and engagement campaign to increase public health awareness, pandemic recovery, public awareness related to water and energy conservation, climate mitigation and emergency preparedness, relief and recovery, awareness of civic engagement and election participation, and community engagement and awareness around social justice. This is a program that has allocated statewide funding. So across the entire state, originally was allocated by these regions that you can see in these different amazing colorful codes. Upstate is that group there in yellow. So there was a total of 11 organizations that were funded to regrant to these different areas. And then there were 3 organizations that were granted funding to produce statewide regranting programs. The Inland SoCal program represents San Bernardino and Riverside County, and the dark green color in the bottom right there. We're really excited to be a part of this group of initial administrative organizations. You'll hear us say the word AO, which just stands for administrative organizations. The 3 statewide organizations are the Latino Community Foundation, the Center for Cultural Power, and 18th Street in Santa Monica. So if you are here today joining us from outside the region of San Bernardino or Riverside counties, there are other organizations that will be providing funding in and around your area. So if you're in Los Angeles or Orange County, San Diego, Imperial, we're going to put a link in the chat to where you could find the administrative organizations for the Creative Corps program in your area. But again, the 3 statewide organizations, those will be providing opportunities for artists across the state. So they still apply to artists that are here in the room today with us. So make sure to follow them on social media. The Center for Cultural Power actually has already released their grant applications for their program. So just wanted to lift that up. The goals of the program are simple, but also complex in some ways. This is overall what we call a workforce development program. It is intended to put artists to work. How do we put them to work is the creative, where the creativity comes in. But the program does want to address 4 key issue areas that were identified by the state, which include some of the things that I mentioned in the program beginning, the goals. This is what happens with Zoom, sorry, some background noise here. So public health and pandemic recovery, water and energy conservation, and disaster preparedness and recovery, civic engagement and voter participation, and social justice and community engagement. This will not only just put artists to work, but will also help us see creatives working across sectors, not just as artists, but as highly skilled, multi-solving workers who are integrated more fully into the workforce. This program will challenge and push back against the way creative work is currently viewed. It will help us imagine a creative workforce that is agile and skilled, and that will enable our regional creatives to envision themselves as vital problem solvers that work closely with community organizations and work across these different areas. So the third goal is that we serve the communities in quartile 1 on the Healthy Places Index map. We're going to get a tutorial and give you a good overview of what that means, what that looks like, because it's pretty vague, right? To just say, what is quartile 1? We're going to get into that next. And then finally, this is ultimately a re-granting program. Inland Southern California-based artists and regional community-based organizations will be funded to collaborate on innovative public art, media, and other engagement projects aimed at addressing some of these critical issue areas that I just mentioned above. So we wanted to provide a slide for possible inspiration and thought purposes only. The guidelines for this program are not done. They are going to be developed through a series of listening sessions and community design team, which we'll talk about later. We wanted to offer some possible approaches to how this could be seen, utilized in the communities. So artists might choose to work with local communities or CBOs to co-create projects. Organizations might end up hiring artists as a part of their ongoing work as it aligns with those goals. Local agencies and even civic departments might explore hiring artists and creators and culture bearers to address these issues. Or artists might actually choose to partner with those local agencies in some way. Artists, organizations, and agencies might also propose large-scale projects or programs. So again, the guidelines are not yet developed. Those will be coming out in the spring, and we'll get further into the timeline in the next few sections. Thank you so much. I'll toss it over to Rachel to teach you all about the Healthy Places Index.
Hey, everybody. So the Healthy Places Index is what we kind of have used to designate the areas in which we are going to be focusing on for this program. So the Healthy Places Index, or the HPI as we call it, is a project of the Public Health Alliance of Southern California, and that is a coalition of the executive leadership of 10 local health departments in Southern California. And the HPI map uses indicators of health, economic circumstance, education, and social factors, and they use that to rank census tracts from the highest to the lowest in order of their impact as social drivers of health. So on the HPI map, they're shown in quartiles with dark blue representing quartile 1. And this is the areas of highest need. And then we have the bright green, which is quartile 4, or the healthiest in the ranking. Next slide, please. And so just a side note, the Creative Corps Inland SoCal partners did not create the California Healthy Places Index map or take any part in the development of the criteria or on deciding what the healthy indicators are. And the intention of the California Arts Council funding is to provide a broad geographic reach and to serve all 58 counties in California, while also prioritizing communities that demonstrate the highest levels of need. And those would be indicated by the California Healthy Places Index. And again, that would be the quartile 1. Next slide, please. So now I need to share my screen also. All right. And we are going to just go through the Healthy Places Index really quickly. Okay, so this is the landing page. So the link on the slide is going to take you to this page. And then you click on the Visit the HPI 3.0 map. And once you get here, it's going to take you to the map of, a broader area than we're focused on. So we have all of California here. And we are going to go to the search bar right here. And this is where you can enter in your own city or your address. So we're going to start with going to Rialto. And so after you type it in, it'll automatically populate. So then you go down to where it says cities or towns and just click on Rialto. And as you can see, Rialto is in the light blue, or the second quartile. And so it doesn't necessarily look from this point like we're in quartile 1. But if you go to the select geography right here where it says cities and towns and you choose tracts, you're going to see why we are focusing on Rialto, because Rialto has quartile 1 quite a bit actually, compared to the blue. So although it is in the second quartile as a city, the if you look the different tracts or the different communities, we have quite a bit in the blue, quartile 1, dark blue. So these are going to be our focus areas, and we are going to encourage you to enter your own address and see how this works for you. So I'm going to select another location. This is going to be, we'll just go to Riverside. And if we look, we're in quartile 2 for the most part as a city, but if you go again to the select the geography location, select tracts, and we have quite a bit of variety in here. We have some areas in the 4th quartile and the 3rd, as well as the 1st and 2nd. So this is just to give you kind of an idea of how we ended up choosing our areas of focus, because these have the highest, we have the highest need in these areas. And this is, we just wanted to give you guys a rundown of how we chose the specific places that we're going to be focusing on. If you want to share your screen again, Jenny, we can move to the next slide. Okay, so based on the HPI, we are going to be doing our listening tour starting in January. This will go through February of next year, January through February of next year. And we have at least 10 listening sessions that we're going to do in person. In San Bernardino County, we're going to be, we've broken down these locations or the counties into different areas. So there's Western San Bernardino County, and our focus area is going to be Ontario, where we're going to have a listening session. Central San Bernardino County, we will be going to Fontana and San Bernardino. And in the San Bernardino County Mountains, we will do a virtual session in Big Bear and San Bernardino County High Desert, Victorville, and Apple Valley. We also have in Eastern San Bernardino County, 29 Palms. And then with Riverside County, we have that broken down as well. So we have Central Riverside, where we will be visiting and holding a listening session in Jurupa Valley. And then Central Valley in Riverside would be Paris, Paris Moreno Valley area. And then Riverside County Mountains, Hemet and San Jacinto, and then Banning and Beaumont areas. And then the desert area, we will be doing the northern desert. Riverside County would be Desert Hot Springs, and the southwestern desert, Riverside County, Indio. And that would be in person, and then also Blythe as a virtual session. And so again, these locations were chosen based on the HPI map, and all of these locations fall within the quartile 1 or the dark blue areas. Okay, I think we can move on to the next slide. I'll pass it over.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as our program timeline, keep in mind that this is a 2-year grant that we received, which started in October 2022, and it will end in October 2024. So this timeline is subject to change, and it's really our guidepost in terms of how we're gonna move through the program. So November, December 2022, where we are right now, there's informal info sessions and outreach that's happening within the tri-council areas, San Bernardino, Riverside proper, and then East and Coachella Valley. This information session is our first and general one that is really introducing this program. when we hit January to February 15 of 2023, we will be launching and implementing our regional listening sessions. And you just heard from Rachel, the target areas where we're going to be having these listening sessions based on the HPI index regions. So we intend to provide at least 4 listening sessions with 1 virtual. Most likely there's going to be more than that, and these are going to be facilitated by the Tri-Council entities. February 16 to March 10, we will be working with a program design team to co-design the RFP. So the RFP is inclusive of the guidelines and the application form. So the program design team is really a group of individuals who have expertise in the program issue areas that we are targeting, such as civic engagement, environmental justice, and community outreach. This is going to be a 10-member team that we are identifying, and we should have the team intact by December 31, 2022, at the end of this year. And so we are looking at, again, engaging the program design team in the listening sessions, where they will be really listening to what the community has to say as far as important issue areas that we should include in our guidelines and RFP components. And these issue areas are really aligned with those that have been identified in the Creative Core program priorities. So March 16, 2023, we intend to announce the RFP and open that up. It will be an online application process, and more information will be provided at that time when we actually host technical assistance workshops, wherein applicants, both individual artists and nonprofit organizations, will have the opportunity to ask questions about the guidelines, get clarity on the guidelines, and how to complete the application form. So May 1st is going to be the deadline to submit the application. There will be, of course, opportunity to ask questions also, via an email process, so that we can we can actually answer them in a timely manner. The week of June 5 would be the decision-making meeting for the reviewers. There will be a team of reviewers who will go through the application process, both individual applicants and nonprofits who apply, and there will be a scoring rubric that will be utilized to help determine who the successful awardees will be. So June 15, the grant awards will be announced, and this will be done via the website, and also award decisions will be directly sent to the applicants, all applicants, both individual artists and nonprofit applicants. July 1, 2023 to June 30, 24. This is a 1-year performance period for our awardees. And July 1, 2024 to September 2024 will be the culmination of events and activities and final reports to be submitted. There will be a lot happening between July 1, 2023 to September 2024. We intend to have grantee convenings and also peer learning community meetings to really make sure that all participants are engaged and we can really document and uplift all the wonderful projects that are going to be coming out of this grant program. Next, please. So as far as the re-granting goals, we do have a 4.7 million state grant, and a quick breakdown is that 20%, which is 950,000, is being used for administration, program design, technical assistance, and media support. The bulk of the money, 80%, 3.8 million, is in the re-granting process directly to artists and community-based organizations or governmental agencies to really hire artists to make sure that we fulfill the priorities of this grant program. So the range of the grants will be between 25,000 to 100,000. And again, it is for both artists and entities, you know, to hire artists. And there's caveat that only 20% of grant totals may be used for administration, and that is per state requirements. And to also emphasize that technical assistance workshops will be provided for all artists and applicants by local mentors, and will be available at public workshops for no cost. So this is really open to everyone interested in applying. And I want to give it back to Kristen. I think that's it for that.
Thank you so much, Celia. Yes, so if you're looking for ways to get involved, you can look at, do you live in the areas where we're headed for a listening session? By the way, you don't need to live in those areas to attend them. You can attend even if you don't live there. We just chose these places for ease and for different parts of the community to attend, but anyone can be there. Sign up to partner and help us host an in-person session in your community. So if you're in any of the communities where we listed on that slide, and you'll receive a recording of this, so just in case you don't remember, you can go ahead and help us by signing up to host the listening session at your place. Make sure to sign up for updates. You'll get all the most pertinent information emailed directly to you. And you can sign up to host a technical assistance session once the RFP is released in the spring of 2023. And let's move into finding out some of your questions that you may have for us. We're going to answer as many as possible. If we don't get to your question, please just drop it in the chat. We also have questions that were submitted during registration that we will be answering as well. So you'll receive an FAQ as long as you've signed up for to receive more information. And if you need that link as well, Yasmin just dropped it in the chat once again. Thank you, Yasmin. So we do have a question. I will say, Jenny, you can take this. As an artist, do you need to live in a dark blue area, or can you do outreach in a dark blue area? That's from Mary.
I'll take this, but if anyone wants to add, feel free. At this point, the final guidelines have not been released. So the listening sessions really are intended to learn about the best ways to design the whole grant application and the whole program. At this point, I can't say either way what ultimately will be decided. However, the most important thing is that the grant money goes to serve the communities most in need. Whether or not the artist lives in that community or not, it hasn't been determined. I'm sorry to be vague about that. And Celia, I don't know if you want to add anything to that particular answer.
Nope, nothing to add. That was great.
Okay.
Great. Our next question is, are fiscally sponsored organizations eligible? Celia, would you like to take that?
Yes, yes. Fiscally sponsored organizations are eligible to apply.
Celia, this next question for you as well. Can this cover overhead like utilities, current and past, and rent?
Yes, there is a 20% cap to administrative indirect costs, but we cannot retroactively pay for any kind of line item expense. So all expenses need to start at the beginning of the grant performance period. No retroactive payment for any indirect costs.
Great, thank you. Beatrice asked, we are located in a commercial area that is light blue, but serves surrounding areas that are dark blue and hire artists from dark blue communities. Will this be taken into account? Yes, we will be able to answer more of those once we get into the design process, but we are looking at that as well. Linda is asking, if I am executive director of Berserk Productions and have an individual artist and need funding for an exhibit that is coming up, I'm guessing the question is she eligible? Celia?
Yes, she is eligible as long as that exhibit is relevant to the communities that are in the dark, the dark blue area of the HBI. So just keep that in mind, that the service area needs to be priority in the dark blue and also the light blue as the second quartile.
Jessica has
one thing to add to that too, just it does need to fall within the grant period as well. So this, again, referencing it can't be funding projects, like retroactively funding projects. It needs to be work that is relevant and related to the program goals. So as long as it's in alignment with that.
Celia, Jessica wants to know, can you get funds as a grassroots organization or do you need to be a 501c3?
So you do need to be a 501c3. If you are a grassroots without a current 501c3 designation, you can partner with someone, an entity that has that 501c3 designation.
Thank you. Charlotte is asking, we are a community theater and own our building. We are a nonprofit and we would like to get a grant to hire artists to do a large mural on the side of the theater building. Does this qualify? Again, this will be something that we get a bit more into as far as the program design, but as long as it falls within the requirements of the RFP and again, as a current project, then tentatively we say yes, it would qualify. Is there a minimum age requirement for artists who can be funded? This particular person is exploring how artists in high schools could be eligible towards this cause. That's from Shazad.
I believe that if it's an individual artist application, they have to be 18 years or older, just from having reread the state guidelines. But that doesn't mean that, so the applicant needs to be 18 or older, but if you want to work with youth as a part of your project, that to me, I feel like would be completely fine, but the individual applicant cannot be younger than 18.
Yeah, so if it's a nonprofit organization that has a youth program, then that nonprofit can actually be the legal applicant so that they can work with the high school students, and that entity, if funded, can then provide stipends to those high school students.
Great, thank you. Heidi's asking, will this potentially support artist residencies that are instructional and include travel and a stipend for the artists? Celia?
Yes, Absolutely. Again, they have to be within the parameters of the priority issue areas: public health, water, energy conservation, disaster preparedness, civic engagement, social justice, and community engagement. So yes, as long as it's within those parameters, absolutely.
Okay, Cindy is asking, do artists need to partner with existing organizations? I'm a bit confused on the individual artist versus organization versus nonprofit. Celia,
So
was that
no,
you?
you don't have to, so it's two buckets. There's two buckets of funding that are eligible. Number one, the first bucket, to individual artists that will bring forward a project that they want to work with in a particular community that is a priority per HPI. The other bucket is for nonprofit 501c3 organizations or public agencies that can apply for programs or projects to hire artists within the program issue areas that's been described. And we can go into details about this during the technical assistance workshops.
Great. Nicole is asking, does the scope of public health and pandemic recovery include mental health recovery, resiliency, suicide prevention, etc.?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Jessica is asking, can I get startup funds to start a formal art studio that is not in my backyard or garage beyond the 20%?
We would need more information about that. So as far as context, so I think, send us some kind of email so we can respond appropriately.
Perfect. Okay, Gloria would like to know, can I apply as an individual artist or do I need to create an LLC, DBA? It's confusing and may stop me from applying.
You can apply as an individual artist. As I mentioned earlier, there's two buckets of funding, one for individual artists and one for nonprofit entities and public agencies to hire artists within their programs.
Great. For those, oh, okay, John is just lifting up. For those without 501c3 status, the arts area offers several types of fiscal sponsorship. So he can help you out with that process. Darren is asking, if an individual artist wants to create public artwork, will we need to find buildings owners ourselves, or will there be a directory of potential sites made available?
The individual artists need to make those arrangements if you are going to apply as an individual to the grant opportunity.
Robert wants to know, does a mutual benefit corporation, not a 501c3, qualify?
If it's not a 501c3, then please find a fiscal sponsor, that can partner with you to lift up your work and to be able to apply.
Can these funds be used to support a one-time project like a community mural to cover a high graffiti area and help with working with the city? It can. It would just need to fit inside the requirements of the RFP, which again will be in the design phase in the new year. Linda is asking, can we need money to give raises and add a position?
So the intent is programmatic. I think the salary, whatever salary requirements you have and raises that you want to do it's it's got to be programmatic. There's got to be a programmatic element to it, and any of those salaries. If it's for a program coordinator, a project coordinator, that's eligible to apply, but not just for general infrastructure, capacity building types of needs for an organization. Hope that's clear, but we can take it offline and discuss it with you.
And I just add something real fast because these are such great questions, and we are hosting the listening session tour to learn more about some of the questions that might pop up, to learn more about what are some of the barriers that people have had for applying for other past grant programs. So we really want to learn how to make this program really fit the community needs as well as meet you all where you're at. So I want to stress that the guidelines and applications haven't been developed. We're being co-designing those with a design team as well as through the listening session feedback. So I just want to make sure that that's super clear as we go forward too. So some of the really like sort of nitty-gritty questions we might not be able to answer yet, but come to the listening sessions and let's get into good conversations about it.
And since this is recorded, right, Kristen?
Yes.
This
Yes.
is recorded. We can capture the the questions and answers and put that in a FAQ that can be posted on the website, and people can just kind of look through that for guidance to answers to questions.
Frank wants to know, is the same amount of funding available in each bucket the same?
You mean for individual artists and nonprofits? No, it's not equally divided.
And just in case it's about the environmental, public health, what about for those buckets?
It's not equally divided into the program interest areas. It's pretty fluid in terms of how the money is going to be awarded. It all really depends on what type of projects and programs are going to be requested as part of the RFP process.
Okay. If I have a fund within the, Bernie is asking, if I have a fund within the community foundation, am I able to apply through that organization as an artist?
So Bernie, we need to talk about that because that's a little sticky but if you as an individual artist, yes, but not as a nonprofit because your fund is here and we can't apply for you on your behalf. But as an individual artist, absolutely.
Cindy is asking, can artists be funded to hire other artists? For instance, a publication geared to civic engagement and several other issues in a news desert, fully dark blue community, or would one need a nonprofit for that kind of group effort?
It needs a nonprofit for that kind of an effort to be able to hire the artists to do it. The individual artist category is specifically for the needs of that individual artist to be able to meet the goals of the program that they're proposing.
Okay.
I'm gonna add just a question because I'm also an artist in this instance. I wonder if there's flexibility around that. It may come out in listening sessions if a group of artists as a collective applies, but doesn't want to be a fiscally sponsored collective. Could the group of artists in that instance, so not an artist hiring other artists, but they kind of hire, or they put in a collective application?
As individual art in the individual arts category, that's sticky because how do you deploy the funds? So we need to kind of park that for now and get clarity from the state.
Okay,
if that's something that we can do.
Yeah, but that's a great question for whoever lifted that up too, so we can run that by the state too. Thanks, Sally.
Frank is asking, where can I find information about the listening sessions? We will be sending that out to everyone. as long as you've signed up on the form so that we have your information. So make sure to fill out that Google form so that we can get you the most current information about the program. Annette wants to know, will there be more than just one application cycle? Yeah, will there be more than just one application cycle?
Nope, our intention is to only have one application cycle, you know, per the timeline that we had shared with all of you. And in the event that the funds are not all granted out, we may consider that, you know, to make sure that the funds are all dispersed to eligible applicants.
Emmeline, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. She says, as an artist living in a dark blue area and a city on your list, I'm confused how I can participate. Where will the artwork be displayed, or do I have to approach an organization?
Jenny, do you want to answer that? You want me to answer it?
Could you repeat the question again?
As an artist living in a dark blue area and a city on your list, I'm confused how I can participate. Will there be artwork displayed, or do I have to approach an organization?
So the reason I wasn't quite sure was the list you're referring to is the listening session location list. I just want to make sure I'm getting clarity on
HPI, I think HPI, because she said dark blue.
Yes. So I'd encourage you to get in touch with us to talk more about that. In terms of artwork, if you want to apply as an individual artist, the project or the work that you'd like to create would need to be co-designed or developed in addressing some of the issues locally in your community. Whatever the project is that you develop or want to do doesn't necessarily have to be exhibited. So just to answer that question directly, but I think as you learn more about the program, come to the listening session, get in touch with us. We can learn more about what you're thinking. I also want to reiterate that there's going to be technical assistance, not just in relationship to the grant application itself, but in thinking about what does partnership look like? How do you develop a project as an individual artist? And how do you do community outreach? So these are some of the things that we'll be providing as a part of the on-ramp through the programming, as well as those who are funded to help make sure the work that's developed is really thorough and make sure it meets all the guidelines and stuff. So I hope that answers the question to the best that I can at this point.
Jenny, just as we wrap up here, can you put the QR code slide back up on the screen quickly? I know Yasmin has been great about dropping the form link in the chat as well. But as we wrap up here, any questions that we did not get to will go into that FAQ, but we want to be respectful of everyone's time today. We're really grateful that you all joined us. We welcome more of your questions. Again, we'll be sending out information on both technical assistance opportunities as well as the listening sessions. So it's really important that if you would like to stay involved and receive answers to all of these questions and more, please go ahead, scan that QR code, click on the link in the chat, and make sure to stay in contact on social media with us, where you can find us at Creative Inland SoCal. We thank you all for being with us today. Have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you all again soon.